Okay, thank you all. Welcome to Cloud Data Driven Online User Group Meeting. Our agenda for today is method behind the magic of indexes in SQL Server. Who am I? I am Jean Joseph, currently working as a data engineer. I've been in IT for 18 years. I'm located in New Jersey. However, I'm originally from Haiti. So I'm your host for today. Okay. The rules are you guys are free to comment, but do it with respect. I have your microphone turned off. So once Dipti wants you guys to ask question, I will be happy to unmute you. Or if you guys have any questions, raise your hand and I will unmute yourself. But at the end of the sessions, I will give everyone access to unmute themselves. You guys are free to follow us on social media. And also today's presentation is a method behind the magic of index in SQL Server. The speaker is Dipti Goguri. Did I say it right, Dipti? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then she is a Microsoft SQL Server trainer, MCP. She blogs. And by the way, thank you. You always have amazing blogs, right? And then she's a speaker as well. She's gonna introduce herself and tell you more about herself. And then we do have a tons of other presentations. The next ones are optimizing SQL Server for large table scan. I would highly suggest you guys to join Thomas Gosher on April 8th. And also there's the next one will be in April 15th, and the topic is Azure SQL Server Managed Instance, right? And Chris is our speaker. And then if you guys go to our website, we have a tons of session lined up for you. Feel free to go and reserve your spot. If you guys want to speak, email me and I'll be happy to, save a spot for you to present your session. Now, DP, welcome
Mhm.
to Cloud Data Driven. The floor is all yours. It is an honor to have you. Share your screen and start with your presentation.
Thank you so much, Jean. Let me share my screen. Um, I hope you are able to see my presentation in the presentation mode. Can you confirm?
Give me a second.
Sure.
It is loading. Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so let's get started then. Somebody is not on mute. If you all can mute yourself, uh, I can pick up. Um, there is lot of disturbance. Now it's good. Um, First of all, I would like to thank Jean for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak for Cloud Data Driven User Group. Thank you so much, Jean, for having me today. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking your valid time for attending this session. So where are you joining from? You might be joining from India. I have seen a lot of names, Indian names. So welcome you all. Thank you so much for taking your valid time. So my name is Deepthi Goguri. I'm a SQL Server database administrator. What are we going to discuss in this session today? We are going to talk all about SQL Server indexes, not like a general talk, like I'm not going to explain you how the seeks look, how the scans look, what is better than the other. We are not going to talk about that. All we are going to discuss in this session today is dive deep into the query optimizer itself to see how the data pages and index pages look like. So it might be really new to you. Like I'm sure you will love this session. There is a lot of content to grab. So hopefully you like it. Let's get started. A little bit about me. I'm a database administrator with 7 years of experience in managing SQL Server and databases. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and Microsoft certified solution expert. I did my master's in computer technology at Eastern Illinois University here in Chicago. And I do blog for dbanuggets.com. That's my website. And it is pretty active. Every week, I release like 2 blog posts. And you all have like, you can learn the deep dive content through my posts. So if you wanted to know more about it, please look into my website. And you can contact me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter as well. So it will be an honor to contact with you later. So you can contact me on Twitter at dbanuggets. That's my user ID. And down below, that's my email address. If you have any questions regarding this session later, please do not hesitate to contact me. So what are we going to discuss in this session today? Like I said, we are not going to discuss about the seek or scans or how many indexes we need to add, how many non-clustered indexes it will be better to add to a table. No, we are not going to discuss anything related to that, right? We are only going to discuss about how the indexes actually look like at the page level, like index page level, data page level, what happens when we insert any record into a table, what happens behind the scenes, how that insert will actually update the indexes as well, and how the page splits happens, all of those content, right? So we are diving deep into the query optimizer to see how SQL Server will use these indexes to get back the data very quickly. So why should we even care about knowing the internals of indexes, right? First of all, I would like to say, like, while I was beginning my career, when somebody talks about clustered indexes or non-clustered indexes, I have this, even though they show me the picture of how they look, like, it is really confusing to me, like what is this leaf level, intermediate level, and the parent level, right? The root level. It will be really good to visualize how it actually looks, right? So as a DBA and developers, we always have these questions in our mind, like how many indexes we should add to any table, or like, is there any definite number of how many we can add? We have that maximum number, but optimally, how many number will be better to add onto a table? And on which columns should we add? Do we need to include 10 columns in an index or just 1 column in an index? And when we see those actual execution plans, you see those recommendations, right? The index recommendations. Should you actually go ahead and create those recommended indexes, right? Generally, it's not at all a good idea, because when you observe, if you did not directly execute it, if you go and observe what it is recommending, you might already have that index, but just it is recommending to add one more column, and you can cover that by adding into an existing index instead of creating a new index, right? Duplicating the data. Once you create that, you have to maintain both of them. You are duplicating the indexes and you have to update them twice, right? So it's not a good idea. So by the end of this session, you will be able to answer all these questions, right? Once you know what happens behind the scenes, you can exactly tell like what happens behind the scenes, and you can easily understand what can be done for the optimal situations, right? So let's go ahead and see. In this session, we are going to see all of these pages. This session, in our presentation, we do not have any word slides, more of these word slides, but all you are going to see these kind of pages. So what is this? You are looking at the screen, right? So this is how the SQL Server data page look like and the index pages look like. So when you observe the screen, there is a top level where you can see the page number, previous page number, next page number. Those are the header of the page, right? The header of the page is always 96 kilobytes, in 96 bytes in size. And so the lowest form of the lowest form where the data can be stored inside the SQL Server is the page, right? It's always 8 KB in size. And we have the 3 parts inside the data page as well as an index page. The first part on the top of the page is the page header. Like we discussed, it is always 96 bytes in size. And what does it contains, right? The page number, the previous page number, the next page number. because all these data pages and index pages are interrelated between each other, and they should have the relationship between each other to travel back and front. So that is the reason we have the page header. When you see the intermediate space, that is known as payload. The numbers which you are seeing here from 1 to 12, that is the space for the payload, meaning the data itself, the column data that we insert into a table, that gets stored in these slots, the 1 to 12 slots. For our demonstration purposes, I mentioned 1 to 12. And at the bottom of the page, you see those rectangles, right? Those boxes. That is the offset array. Now, what do we mean by offset array? These offset array, each of the box contain the pointer to the space of exactly where the data gets stored inside the payload area of the page itself. So where do, like if we are searching on a searching the data by using the select star from, then how does the SQL Server will look at this page, right? It will go ahead and grab that pointer from the load offset array, and then it will go and grab that data from the payload part. It will always go ahead and see the offset array pointer where the data is actually pointing from. So for our easy understanding, because we all of our data pages and index pages look alike, for our easy understanding, I have mentioned two pointers at the top of each page. The square part, which is of light blue in color, represents the data page, and the purple one will represent the index page. So I took the table name, a brand new table name, flowers, because all women love flowers. I love flowers. So there is not much meaning in this table, but let's say we have the table name flowers, right? And we are creating a table name flowers with ID, flower name, owner of the flower, and code for that flower, and entry date, right? When entry date means we are going to insert the data today itself, but just for our demonstration, the entry dates will be different. This particular table is a heap table. That means we do not have any clustered index on it, but we can still create a non-clustered index, right? Let's go ahead and create a non-clustered index, unique index on this particular table, flowers, on the columns, flower name and the owner name. So when you observe, whenever a table gets created, SQL Server has to allocate a page to the table itself, right? And when you create any index, SQL Server will also allocate a page, an unallocated page from the disk to the table, right? And whenever you create a non-clustered index, a new page will be allocated for that non-clustered index as well. So let's say the data page we have here is the page number 11, but you see that 1:11, right? So the 1 represents the file name itself, the file name 1 and the page name 11 for the data page. When you see the non-clustered index, the file name is 1 and the data page, the index data page number is 12. So let's go ahead and insert into the flowers table, brand new flowers table. We do not have any data. So let's go ahead and insert the first record, right, into the table flowers. Acacia best. Acacia is the flower name and the best is the owner name, owner last name. So as we know that a data page has been allocated and an index page has been allocated, data page number is 11 and the index page number is 12. So first, let's go ahead and insert into the data page, right? But before going into that, let me explain this. For our demonstration purposes, our memory is like very, very small. We can just fit 3 pages into the memory, right? Whenever you insert, update, do any kind of operations into the table, you directly don't go and insert into the database file on the disk subsystem. You have to actually grab those data pages in the form of 8 KB pages, put them in the memory and do the modification over there and send back to the database file system by using the checkpoint process, right? Which automatically does behind the scenes. So for our demo, we can just fit 3 pages. So while we are inserting the data, we have to grab those pages, put them in the memory and insert it in the memory, right? So our 11th page and the 12th page, currently they are grabbed into the memory. Let's go ahead and insert acacia flower into the data page, page number 11. And if you observe something here, the slot number 1 represents a number here, right? 30, 5 zeros. Now the 30 represents the size of the record itself, 5 zeros represents the bitmap, right? The bitmap, what is that? Each zero represents the column value inside that record. 0 represents like whenever you have a value in that column, you have 0. Whenever you have null value for that column value, then that will be turned to 1, depending upon which column is having that nullable value. We are going to see that in our coming slides as well. So when you observe the bottom of the page, page number 11, you see that offset array pointing to the slot number 1, right? So the slot number 1 is going to represent the record, right? Record of the acacia flower. So that's how we read. So whenever we insert any record into the data page of the table, we have to also update our index, right? The non-clustered index. So we have to also insert the values of the flower name, owner name of the index as well, because that's where we have created the index on those 2 columns, right? So let's go ahead and update that. Here, the 6,00 from the slot 1, 6 represents the size of the record itself inside the index. 00 represents the flower acacia and the last name best. But when you observe here, the 1:11 is to 1. 1 represents the file name, 11 represents the record is pointing to the page number 11, and the 1 represents the offset value on the bottom of the page number 11. It is pointing to the first record, right? The slot array number. That's how we read the index, non-clustered index basically. And when you see the non-clustered index on the page number 12, even it have the offset array values pointing to the place where that record got stored. Now let's go ahead and insert one more record into the table with the flower name Erica. Page number 11, we still have the space here. So let's go ahead and insert that. And when you observe the bottom of the page number 11, the slot array has been updated to the and it is pointing to the second slot is pointing to the 7th slot of the payload, right? So we inserted a record here. So let's go ahead and insert the record into the index as well, because we have to maintain over there, right? Let's go ahead and insert that. Now let's go ahead and insert one more record into the table named flowers, Daisy. So when you observe here, we do not have any more space on page number 11 to fit in that record, right? So what SQL Server will do? SQL Server will think there is no space over here. So let me go ahead and grab that unallocated page from the disk, give it to the table, and from the table, we'll grab that page, the new page, into the memory. The page number will be allocated, which is page number 13. And the previous page and the next page will have to be updated. So the previous page for the page number 13 is page number 11, right? Because that is the data page. And on the page number 11, the next page have to be updated, which is page number 13. So now we have a brand new page, we have space. So let's go ahead and insert that record into the page number 13. So whenever we insert any record into the data page, we have to also update our index, right? So let's go ahead and update that. We have space on page number 12. So let's go ahead and update that. Now, if you observe the page number 12, the slot array of page number 12, right? It is not showing like 159, but it is showing 195. We just inserted a record into the non-clustered index for the name Daisy, right? But the Daisy should come in between Acacia, the first record, and the second record is Erica, right? It should fit in between those two records, right? because our non-clustered index is on the flower name, comma, owner name. So logically it have to be in the order, right? Those indexes are in the order of the flower name, comma, last name. But here it has inserted, it can't directly go and physically modify the data inside the index. So that is the reason it will logically modify the order of those records in the slot array. That is the reason when you see the slot number 3 on the bottom of the page, page number 12, it shows it is pointing to the slot number 5. Slot number 5 is Erica, right? So logically it will be converting and it will be in the order because it cannot just go ahead and reorder them physically. Now this is how our data pages look like, the left side, and the index page on the right side look like. We just added in brand new data page, page number 13. So we have 2 data pages and 1 index page. Now let's go ahead and insert one more record into the table with the flower name Gardenia. Now as we have space on the page number 13, we can fit in this particular record into the page. Let's go ahead and insert that. But whenever we insert a new record, we have to also update the non-clustered index, right? But did you observe the non-clustered index page, page number 12, doesn't have any space to fit in. So what SQL Server will do? Just like it will add the brand new data page, it will go ahead and get that unallocated page from the disk, give it to the table, to the non-clustered index, and that page will be grabbed into the memory for the insert, right? But here we have our memory is full, right? So what SQL Server will do? It will go ahead and evict the least recently used pages out of the cache to fit in that new page where we can do the insert, right? But there is also other thing that you have to remember, right? Whenever you insert a new page to the index, let's say we are going to insert a page number 14, right? Then SQL Server have to maintain those 2 pages by creating one more page to the index, which will be the root page, because there should be a pointer on one page which will be pointing to those root level pages. Let's go ahead and see that in action. Now we have to insert 2 pages, right? One leaf page and one root page to maintain those 2 leaf pages of the index. Let's go ahead and evict page number 11 and also page number 13 because these are the 2 least recently used pages. Let's go ahead and evict them and add brand new 2 pages, 2 index pages into the memory. Let's name the index page page number 14. That will be the leaf page because page number 12 is completely full. We have to add the new data. So we added the page number 14, update the previous page number and the next page number, give it the name to the new page, page number 15. The page number 15 will be the root page. Update the previous page number on the page number 14 to the page number 12. And on the page number 12, the next page will be page number 14. Now we have space here in the brand new page, index page actually on the page number 14. Let's go ahead and insert that particular record into the index as well. Now, okay, so we have inserted the data into the newly created that leaf page of the index. But in order for us to maintain, we have to also create the root page because the root page, which is here, page number 15, it have to have the pointer to the page number 12 and page number 14. So SQL Server will go ahead and insert those pointers to the page number 12 and page number 14. Now, when you observe the page number 15, anything before Gardenia will go to the page number 14, page number 12, and anything equal to Gardenia and greater than Gardenia will go to the page number 14. That's how the pointers are placed. Now, this is how our index page looked like. We just created 2 pages for the index, page number 14. because page number 12 was full and we cannot update that particular record into the index, we have created the brand new index page, which is page number 14. But then we have to have that root page to have the pointers to both of these leaf pages, page number 12 and page number 14. For that, SQL Server will go ahead and create a brand new index page, which is a root page, and put the pointers to the page number 14 and page number 12. The database pages looks the same. We did not create it, like SQL Server did not added any new pages for the database page. Now let's go ahead and do our first select star from database, table name flowers, where flower name is Erica. So how does SQL Server will do that, right? Let's go ahead and see. Now, so SQL Server, if we have to do the select star from, like it is doing the select, right? First, if it uses the index, it will have to first go to the root page of the index, which is the page number 15, and then decide where the Erica is going to. If it is going to the page number 12, it will go to the page number 12, directly to the slot array at the bottom of the page, get that pointer, which is pointing to the database page, go to the database page, which is page number 11 or page number 13, to get that information, right? But if you observe here, first it will go ahead and use the page number 15, which is the root page. If at all it uses the index to get that data, page number 15, and then page number 12 or page number 14, and then the database page, the data page 11 or 13, right? That means it have to access 3 pages. But instead, SQL Server thinks there are only 2 data pages, right? For this table, why should I even go ahead and use the index? Because now I have to read 3 different pages if I use the index. Instead, I can just go ahead and directly scan those 2 database pages, the data pages for that table to get this information. Because that is easy, that is less resources, it costs less resources for the SQL Server. So it will decide to just go ahead and scan 2 pages of the table, which is page number 11 and page number 13. So page number 11 is not in the memory right now. So the least recently used page will be evicted out of the cache. Page number 11 is currently in the memory. So it will go ahead and check if the Erica is here in the page number 11. It found the Erica, but we do not know if page number 12 also have that Erica, right? The next data page, which is page number 13 actually. When you look at the next page on the page number 11, it is pointing to page number 13. So the next page, it will grab to see if at all there is a Erica on that page as well. We do not have space, so SQL Server have to throw out page number 14 from the memory, grab the page number 13, because that is the next page for the page number 11. It will check if any Ericas are there here. It did not find, right? That's how it will, SQL Server will decide whether it have to use the index or whether it have to directly scan the table, right? So by this, what we understood here is scans are not always bad, right? Whenever we hear people say scans are bad, seeks are good, indexes are always good, but in this scenario, we see these kind of scenarios in the live data as well. If SQL Server think it will have to do less amount of work, if it can just go ahead and scan the entire pages of the table, then that will be a good thing, right? So here it decided to do the entire table scan. Now let's go ahead and insert Bargania into the table. Here, if you observe, the page number 13 is completely full. So we need to add a brand new data page. SQL Server will go ahead and grab that unallocated page from the disk to the table, from the table to the memory. But here we do not have space. So SQL Server have to evict the page number 15, since that is the least recently used page. Grab the brand new data page, give it a page number 16, and the previous page will be updated, which is page number 13, and the next page on the page number 13 will be updated to the page number 16. Now we have a brand new page, so we can easily insert the Bergenia into the data page, right? Now we have to also update the index, right? So let's go ahead and evict page number 11 because we do not have space. And now we have the page number 15. Now why we have the page number 15, right? SQL Server doesn't know where onto which page it have to insert that particular record into the index. So it will always go ahead and use that non-clustered index root page to see where it can fit that record, right? So it will check, it will have to go ahead and fit into the page number 12 because anything before Gardenia will go to the page number 12, and page number 12 is not in the memory currently. So it have to evict page number 13 because it is the least recently used page. Grab page number 12, but this page is completely full, right? Where do I fit in this particular record? It has to fit in this particular page because on the root level, it is saying it have to go to the page number 12, but this page is currently full. Now, there is something known as a page split that is going to happen here, because whenever you are trying to insert or update any record into the index, and if there is no space inside that page of the index where it have to fit in, then this page split happens. Page split meaning SQL Server, just like the other pages, it will go ahead and grab that unallocated page to the index, and that page will be coming to the memory, a brand new page, and then half of the data from the previous page, that is the page number 12, will be moved to that new page, right? The newly created page, such that it will have some space on the page number 12 so that this particular record can fit in. We will see that in action right now. So we do not have space on the page number 12, right? So let's go ahead and evict the page number 16 and get that brand new index page into the memory, give it a page number 17. And now, because previously, if you observe, we have two pages on the index at the leaf level, right? Page number 12 and the page number 14. But as we have this page split in between, there will be a page that got newly created in between these two pages, page number 12 and page number 14. So this particular page, page number 17, will fit in between these two pages. So we have to go ahead and update those pointers as well, right? Because the previous pointers are pointing to page number 12 and page number 14. But now we have a page in between those two pages. We have to also update those pointers of these page numbers, right? It will go ahead and update the previous page, but for the page number 17, which is the previous page, is page number 12. And the next page will be page number 14 because it inserted in between the page number 12 and 14, right? So now what happens? The half of the data that should be moved from page number 12 to the page number 17, which is newly created, right? So let's move that. This particular data, which you are seeing in the dark maroon color, it will move to the page number 17. And now we have space on the page number 12, right? So the data, the Bergenia, will be inserted into the page number 12 because logically that is where the page have to be, that is where the record have to be fit in, right? And then now we also have to update the next page on the page number 12, which is now pointing to page number 14, right? But that is not where we have to point. It should be pointing to the page number 17, right? So that will get updated. But there is one more way, that like there is one more place where we need to also update those pointer. Page number 14, right? Now the page number 14 is pointing to page number 12. But as we just inserted page number 17, it have to update that pointer as well. Let's go ahead and evict page number 15 out of the cache. Grab that page number 14. If you see, the previous page is pointing to page number 12, but then we inserted a new page, page number 17, in between them. So the previous page should be page number 17. So that will be updated as well. Now, as we have added a brand new page, page number 17, in between page number 12 and 14, We should also update that information, the pointer information, onto the root level of the index, right, to point to the page number 17, because we do not have any pointer to the page number 17 until now. So SQL Server will just go ahead and update that information as well. So we have to evict page number 17 and then get that root level of the page, which is page number 15. And then it will go ahead and update that pointer pointing to the page number 17. This is how our index pages look like right now. Here you can clearly understand. Previously, we have the the leaf level pages, just the page number 12 and page number 14. But as we cannot insert, like page was full on page number 12, so we couldn't insert a brand new record into the index. SQL Server has created a brand new page, page number 17, in between those two pages. The page split happened, so we have updated those pointers on all of these three pages, and then a pointer has been updated on the root level of the index page, page number 15, and we have updated that information pointing to page number 17, right? We have added a new pointer as well. When you see the data pages, we still have page number 11, 13, and 16. There is no change over there. Now let's go ahead and insert one more record into the table with the flower named Kalmia. So if you see here, we have to grab the data page, right? Because this is an insert. Let's go ahead and evict page number 12 because that is least recently used page. Grab that data page, page number 16, and then go ahead and insert that into the data page. But currently we have to also update that index page, right? But how do we know where to insert? We will have to access that root page, right? So root page is in the index, is in the memory. So it is actually pointing to the page number 14 because anything equal to Kalmia or less than Kalmia should go to the page number 14. Page number 14 is luckily in the memory. So SQL Server will go ahead and insert that Kalmia record into the index. Now let's go ahead and do a select star from table name flowers, where flower name is Kalmia and owner is Morris. And select star from flowers where owner is Morris and flower name is Kalmia. Do you think there is a difference between these two statements? Not actually, right? Because our index is created on flower name, comma owner name. SQL Server can have that ability to go ahead and behind the scenes, it can go ahead and arrange those things back and forth because we have that index on both of those columns, right? But it is asking for select star from. That means we have to get all of the column values, right? So if you think the SQL Server will go ahead and use index, right? Where it have to contact first? It have to go ahead and first contact the root page of the index. And we know that page number 15 is the root page, right? So it is pointing to the page number 14. Go to the page number 14. Page number 14 is luckily in the memory. It is pointing to the page number 16. If you see the pointer where it is pointing to the file number 1, page number 16, and slot number 2, second slot. And luckily the page number 16 is in the memory. When you see the second slot of the array, it is pointing to the 7th slot, right? 7th slot of the payload area where our data gets stored. So we have found the record right at that particular slot number, right? So that's how SQL Server will go ahead and use the index. If it uses the index, that's how it will use the index to grab that information as quickly as possible. Now let's go ahead and insert a different record into the table with the flower name funnel, but they forgot to mention they don't have any date of entry, right? They just gave null value. So how does SQL Server will handle this, right? Let's go ahead and see. So page number 16 is actually full, right? So we have to evict the page number 15. SQL Server will get that unallocated page to the table and from table to the memory. So let's give it a page number 18, and then update the previous page, which is page number 16. The next page on the page number 16 is page number 18. So we have a brand new page here. Let's go ahead and insert. But did you observe something here? The slot number 6 is empty, right? There is no null value that has been inserted here. And if you see the first slot, it is showing 30 comma 4 zeros and then 1. Do you remember in the beginning of the session, I said whenever there is a null value, you will see those respective zeros turning to zeros and ones, right? Zeros represents there is a data, 1 represents there is a null value, right? So the 6th slot is actually null. That's how the SQL Server, it is the least way how it can save that space inside the data page. Here, just one slot has been saved by just changing that value, right, in the slot number 1. But in the real scenario, it might be like coming to a place like it can save the space where it can fit in other records as well, right? This is our demo, so it just saved one slot of the page. So now we have inserted a record here. So we have to also update the index, right? So where should we go? We should go to the root page of the index. So root page of the index is page number 15. We do not have page number 15. So let's go ahead and evict the page number 14, get the page number 15. So it is pointing to the page number 17. Page number 17 is not in the memory. So let's go ahead and evict page number 16, grab page number 17. So here we have space. So we'll go ahead and insert that value. Here, this is how our data pages will be look like we just added the page number 18, right? The brand new data page. Index wise, we did not made any modification. SQL Server did not add any pages, so it looks the same. Let's do another select star from table name flowers, where flower name is Kalmia and the owner name is less than or equal to Morris. How does SQL Server will handle this, right? Let's go ahead and see. Think like it might be using the index, right? Less than or equal to Morris and flower name is Kalmia. So it will go ahead and look for the root page, which is page number 15. It is pointing to the page number 14. Page number 14 is not in the memory, so page number 18 will be evicted. Page number 14 is now in the memory. So the Kalmia is pointing to file number 1, page number 16, and slot number 2. Page number 16 not in the memory, so it will be grabbed. And page number 16, it is pointing to the second slot, which is pointing to the 7th slot inside the payload area, which is Kalmia Morris. That's how SQL Server will use the index one more time. Now let's go ahead and see how this thing will be handled. Select star from flowers, where owner is Morris and flower name is less than or equal to Kalmia. Now SQL Server, it basically, so it will have to get the select star from, right? So it will have to get all of the column values where owner name is Morris and flower name is less than or equal to Kalmia. Let's go ahead and see how SQL Server will grab that information. It will have to, sorry, missed something here. So here, it is asking for select star from where flower name is less than or equal to Kalmia, right? So if the SQL Server will go ahead and use the page number 15 index page, which is, it will have to go ahead and use that information, page number 15 first, and then based upon where it have to point, it have to go to the leaf level of the pages and then go ahead and see where those slot arrays are pointing to, right? Where onto which page they are pointing to. Now, if it uses the index here, it will have to go ahead and do so many reads Like maybe it will point out to page number 15, then go to the page number 12. On page number 12, we will have it will point out to 3 records. So it will have to go ahead and use the database pages, come back again, check the different page, go back again, check the database pages, come back again. So it might be so many reads that it have to do. So instead of that, SQL Server might think, why can't I just go ahead and just scan the entire data pages, right? Let's go ahead and see how it will handle this, because there are only 4 pages that it have to scan. So think that it is not going to use the index. It will scan. Page number 15 will be evicted out of the cache. Page number 14 will be also evicted. Sorry, it will go ahead and check the page number 11, because page number 11 is the first one. So it will have to get the page number 13. Page number 13, it will go ahead and check all the values. And then on the page number 13, the next page is page number 16, right? Page number 16 will be in the memory right now, and it will find out there is a record with Kalmia Morris, right? That's how SQL Server will use it will decide whether it have to scan the pages. It thought in this particular scenario, it can just scan those 4 pages directly and then get that information from, instead of reading so many pages, right? Now let's go ahead and insert one more record into the table with a flower name hibiscus. So we have space on the database page, page number 18. It will go ahead and insert that. We have to also modify, and we have to also insert and maintain the index. So let's go ahead and get that page, page number 15, which is the root page, and see where that actually hibiscus should fit, right? It is pointing to the page number 14. Page number 14 is not in the memory. Let's get that page number 14. Page number 14 is in the memory. We have space, so hibiscus will just fit into it. Now this is how we have data pages and the index pages. No difference. We did not add any brand new pages. Let's go ahead and insert one more record with the flower name Carnation. Currently, if you observe the page number 18, the data page, it do not have much space. And if you see here, the slot number 12 is actually empty, right? Now, why is that? Sorry. Now, why is that? Because SQL Server has saved that space, the nullable value space, right? That's the least space that it can save here. So we have to insert a brand new data page, because we need to insert that particular record. So page number 15 will be evicted. Brand new page will be inserted. Page number 19. Previous page and next page will be updated. And then that particular record can be inserted into the page Carnation. So now we have to also update the index, right? So it will have to first get in touch with page number 15, because that is the root page, right? Page number 15 not in the memory. So page number 15 is now in the memory. So Carnation, where will be the Carnation going to? It is going to be on the page number 12. Page number 12 have to be in the memory. Page number 18 will be evicted. Page number 12 is in the memory. We have space, so it gets inserted. Now we just have inserted a brand new data page, right? Page number 19. Trust me, it is going to be the next slide is going to be very interesting. Now let's do the select flower name comma owner from flowers way order by flower name comma owner. Now if you observe this statement, the index is created on flower name comma owner, right? So we are going to get all of the records from the index itself, because we already have an index in the order, in the same order, right? On the flower name comma owner. So SQL Server doesn't have to go ahead and touch the data pages itself. It can just get all of the data from the index itself. Now it have to go ahead and first interact with the page number 15. Page number 15, because we are getting all of the data, right? All of the flower name comma owner name. It will just go ahead and scan here, and then it will also scan the leaf level of the indexes, which is page number 12. And then it will have to get the next page, which is page number 17. It will go ahead and scan this particular index as well. And then the next page is page number 14. So it will have to get that page number 14, scan everything here to get that information, right? Because we are getting, it don't even have to touch the database pages, because we are just asking for the column values which are actually inside the index. So it do not have to touch the data pages. Now let's go ahead and insert one more record, Jasmine, into the table. This is how our index look like, index and the database look like. Now to insert that particular record, we have to get that data page, right? Data page is not in the memory right now. So let's go ahead and evict page number 12, grab page number 19. Yes, we do have space here. So let's go ahead and insert Jasmine, but we have to also update that index, right? Let's grab the page number 15 because we have to know where to fit in Jasmine into the index. So let's go ahead and evict page number 17 and then grab the page number 15 to know where we have to fit in Jasmine. Jasmine should go to the page number 14. That is what the root page is saying. So 14 is in the memory. So what's happened? Let's go ahead and evict this page number 19. Sorry, actually it have to go to the page number 14, right? So page number 14, when you observe, page number 14 is completely full. So what SQL Server will do is it will go ahead and do one more page split, right? One more page split and create a brand new page for the index, move half of the data from the page number 14, move to the new page, and then fit this particular record into the page number 14, because that's where the root page is saying it have to go and fit in there. So let's go ahead and evict page number 19. We create a brand new page. SQL Server will allocate a page to the index, update the page number, which is page number 20, update the previous page number 14. On the page number 14, the next page is pointing to page number 20. Now half of the data have to move from the page number 14, right? Because this is page split. So half of the data will be moved to the page number 20, and then the insert happens. The hibiscus has been inserted into the page number 14. Now we have to also update that particular pointer onto the root level page, right? Onto the page number 15. But if you observe here, root level page is full. Now where do we fit in the pointer to those index pages, right? The brand newly created page number 20. Now once again, there will be a page split happens. There will be a new page gets created to share the page number 15, right? So let's go ahead and evict page number 14, brand new page, index page, and this new page will be the page where a page split happened, right, to the page number 15, because now we cannot add the pointer to the page number 20. We have to add in brand new page, move half of the data, update the page numbers. The page number 21, this is the page number 21 which brand newly created. The previous page should be updated, which is page number 15. Page number 15 will not be the root page anymore because it is completely full. That is the reason we created the page number 21. So the previous page is pointing to page number 15. The next page on the page number 15 is pointing to the page number 21. And now half of the data have to be moved from the page number 15 to the page number 21. And then now if you observe here, now the page number 15 has been split into the new page, right? The page number 21. Now what will be the root page, right? There is no root page now because 15 is no more the root page. So now SQL Server will have to go ahead and create a brand new page which can have the pointers for these two new pages, right? The 15 as well as the page number 21. So SQL Server will evict the page number 20 out of the cache, create a brand new page, page number 22, and the pointers will be updated will be inserted into the page number 22, which will be pointing to the page number 15 and page number 21. So the pointers will be updated here to the page number 15 and page number 21. You will clearly understand here, right? Now this is how our index page look like. Now previously we have the leaf level pages, right? We do not have page number 20, right? So we cannot insert. So SQL Server went ahead and create a brand new index page. But then to update the pointer to the leaf level page, as we created the new page, page number 20, we have to also update that pointer to the page number 15 because that was the root page, right? But page number 15 is also full. So SQL Server have to split by creating a new page, page number 21. But as they are split, there is no more root page for the index, right? So SQL Server will go ahead and create a brand new page, page number 22, and then update the pointers. It will insert the new pointers onto the page number 22, pointing to page number 15 and page number 21. Now the page number 15 and 21 are the intermediate levels, right? Because they are pointing to the leaf levels of the index itself, right? So that's how we see the index page. And when you see the data pages, they remain the same. Now let's go ahead and do a one more select. Select owner from the flowers where flower name is Jasmine and ID is 5. So we are asking for the owner name where the ID is 5 with the flower name Jasmine. Now how do SQL Server use that, right? It can use the index, right? Because it is asking for owner. Owner is already inside the index, but the ID, we do not have ID inside the index, right? So it have to go ahead and use the database page to get that ID information. Because we do not have any clustered index, right? Our table is heap, so it have to go ahead and get that ID information by contacting the disk subsystem to get that information. So what are we doing here? Are we doing select? Okay, we are doing select, right? So page number 22, it will contact because page number 22 is currently our root page. So it should go and it is pointing to the page number 21. Page number 21 is pointing to the page number 20 for that particular record. Page number 20 is not in the memory. If you observe, the page number 22 is the root level. It is pointing to the intermediate level, page number 21, and the page number 21 is pointing to the leaf level, which is page number 20. Page number 20 is not in the memory, so page number 20 will be grabbed into the memory, and it is pointing to this is the leaf level, right? The page number 20 is the leaf level. So the leaf level of the index is pointing to the file number 1, page number 19, and slot number 2. Page number 19 is luckily in the memory. It is pointing to the slot number 2. Slot number 2 from the row offset array is pointing to the 7th slot. 7th slot is Jasmine. That's how the SQL Server will go ahead and get that information, right? But now, if you observe here, we do not have that ID information, right? The ID is actually pointing to the ID 10, but we have asked for ID number 5. So SQL Server has to go through all this process to find nothing because we asked for the ID number 5. We have ID number 10 here. Because this is a data page, page number 19 is a data page, it have that ID information. So it have to actually contact this subsystem to get that data page into the memory to find that ID value. But it cannot find any because we asked for ID number 5, right? Now let's go ahead and alter the table right now to add that clustered index, right? Until now, our table is heap table, right? But now let's go ahead and add and see how the clustered index look like. And we are creating the clustered index on the top of the ID column. Now this is how our clustered index look like. Confusing, right? We see all of those numbers. When you see the page number 23, page number 24 and page number 25, you see those numbers all the way around. You don't see any values at all, right? This is the clustered index. So page number 23 here, page number 24, these two are the intermediate pages of the clustered index. And when you see the page number 25 is the root level of the clustered index. Let's see the intermediate levels first, right, of the clustered index. So since we created the clustered index on the top of the ID column, the clustered index intermediate level will be pointing to the ID column itself. Only values which you see are the IDs over there, and it will have a pointer which will be pointing to the page number. If you see the third slot on the page number 23, it is pointing to the page number 11. So how do we read that? The ID number 1 is pointing to the page number 11, right? When you go next, the ID number 3 is pointing to the page number 13. That's how we read the intermediate levels of the clustered index. Let's see the root level of the index, right? Clustered index, the page number 25, which is the on the right side. It is pointing to the IDs, and then it is pointing to the intermediate pages of the clustered index, the page number 23 and page number 24. That's how it will read the root level and the intermediate level of the clustered index. Now let's see how the data looks like, right? The data pages, right? The leaf level of the clustered index is the data itself, the data pages itself in the sorted order of the clustered ID. But when we inserted the data, we have actually inserted 1, 2, 3, 4 with the IDs, right? So it is already sorted. But if there are any unsorted data, right, they will be sorted properly. Because previously SQL Server has to logically divide, right? Now it will go ahead and physically update that information. It will go ahead and sort in the order of the ID column. These are the data pages. These are the leaf level of the clustered index. Now, this is how our clustered index look like. Like the left side is the clustered index. The leaf level of the clustered index are the data pages itself in the sorted order of the ID column, right? When you see the intermediate pages, they are actually having that ID directly pointing to the page number. When you see the root level, which is page number 25, it is having the ID pointing to those two intermediate pages. That's how we read the clustered index. And when you see the index page, there will be a little bit different. Index will change a little bit different when you add that clustered index, right? Because now the non-clustered index leaf level pages will not point out to the slot arrays onto the data pages. It will not have that file number 1, page number 19 and slot number 2. It doesn't have that anymore. Now, how does our non-clustered index look like after we added the clustered index, right? Let's go ahead and see. This is how our pages look like the leaf level of the indexes look like. Now, when you observe the top, the symbol is different. It shows as the data pages, but it's not right. I have to change that to the index pages. So when you observe here, the page number 12, like let's say the example, instead of pointing to the file number 1, page number 14 and slot number 2, it is directly pointing out to the ID column, right? It is directly pointing to the ID column. So that's how
Hello, Dipti.
Sorry
about that. Just to let you know, we are 5 minutes after 1, just for your information.
Sure. I'm about to complete it. So that's how the leaf level of the index look like. So in the summary, and this is how the intermediate pages and the root pages of the index look like once we added our clustered index, right? So in the summary, what we have discussed is, instead of going ahead and seeing those optimization suggestions, like whether we have to use index scan or seek which is better, and instead of doing that, we have dived deep into the optimizer itself to see how the indexes look like, how the page splits happens, what will happen if you create multiple indexes on a table, and how SQL Server have to maintain each and every index whenever you insert any table, This will happen to all of your non-clustered index when you insert any records into a table. So yeah, I hope you understood how it is so important to know the internals of the indexes, to know how many indexes you can actually add into a table. Now you will feel like, oh my God, I should not add more indexes, right? That's the right thing. And creating a index on a single column is useless. Um, create create some of the non-clustered indexes by consolidating the indexes, putting as many columns as possible, like not every column of the table, but where most of your queries can use the same index, right? I followed these resources and I have been, I'm motivated by looking at these resources to prepare for this presentation. If you wanted to know more about, you can just go ahead and watch these and learn more about the indexes. And I would like to thank Jean Joseph for giving me wonderful opportunity to present at Cloud Data Driven User Group. And I hope to see you again if I get any chance. Thank you so much.
To be honest with you, I would love to say thank you. Dipti, you done an amazing work. And would you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure.
How much time did you take to prepare this wonderful presentation?
Glad you asked this question because nobody ever asked me this. It took me like, oh my God, it took me like, because as you see in my presentation, no words, only the animations, right? It took me like, to like 1.5 months, day and night. I worked on this part to put this thing together. It's really tough, to
Right.
show, like, actually show you how things actually move here and there. So yeah, thank you so much, Jin. You have observed it. Yay.
Yes. It is very amazing. If you guys have any questions, you do have access to unmute yourself. Feel free to unmute yourself, raise your hand, and ask questions.
I'm
Hey,
actually, yeah,
hey,
sorry,
this
go
is
ahead.
Mayur, but I don't have actual question on the topic, but I have a question on this recording. Can you share this with us, please? Is that a way, or can we go and
Ye-
get this recording from somewhere?
Yes, yes, sir. It will be recorded and I will share it with all of you.
Thank
Also,
you.
Dipti, would you mind to share this slide deck so this way I can share it across?
Sure, sure.
No
I'll
issue.
do that.
Any other questions? Just give them at least 15 seconds. There might be a delay. And then, by the way, thank you so much, Dipti.
Thank you so much for having me, Jean.
You're welcome. It is an honor to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Jeffrey, go ahead.
Howdy. I don't actually have any questions. I just wanted to thank you for the obvious amount of time that it took to put this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Anyone
how
else?
many did we have? How many attendees did we have in maximum? I know they might have leave the presentation in between because I was like, what is she even talking about? She's showing all of these
Yes,
numbers on the screen.
yes. I would say 30, but it even more than 30. There were a bunch of people was waiting because we normally open early. So I'm not sure if they probably come join us from overseas. And then by 11 40 55, some of them job. But the thing is, we do have 30 people join us today. If I don't
Awesome.
count, the first
Awesome.
part of people join us.
Awesome. Because
Right.
this
So
presentation is something like if they jump in between, they can't understand, they have to follow from the beginning.
right, right. So there's 30 people join us today.
Hello.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Hello. I do not have any questions about the topic, but I would like to say a big thank you to Dipti. So, as a Telugu boy, I'm very proud of
Oh, thank
pronunciations
you
of
so much.
has shared. Thank you so much.
He's from my
Thank you.
state, I believe he's from the same state as well. I think he's from, yeah, you're from
Andhra
the same country.
country.
Thank you
Okay,
so
great.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to contact with you guys on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. I would love to interact with you guys. Like I'm coming up with very brand new sessions as well. On Query Store and couple of other TempDB, couple of other stuff like because
I have gone through the blogger. I see there are a lot of content in there which is useful. But so I'll go through more and I'll get back to you in case if I get questions over there.
sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful speech.
Thank you.
Topic.
So, any more questions, guys? Let's give them another 10 seconds and end this session. Let me share my screen. Would you mind?
No, I do not
Dipti?
mind. No, I don't mind.
Thank
Maybe
you.
I have to stop sharing.
Thank you everyone for attending our webinar, and thank you so much, Dipti, for putting together this wonderful presentation. I hope next year I have a chance to have you again.
Yay! Thank you.
You're welcome. Please follow us and also share the meeting with your friends. And this session is being recorded. I'm gonna share all the information with you right after we upload it to our YouTube channel. Have a good one. Dipti, bye-bye. Thanks again.
Bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye.
Bye-bye.